Hi, welcome to the human respiratory system. I thought that we might fill out this packet together like we do in class. So, one of the first things you're going to see, it asks you to define the terms in front of you for the structures inside of the respiratory system. So, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so it starts in the nose and the nostrils, okay, the nasal cavity, in the mouth, and air enters, is filtered by hairs, and is warmed and humidified and sampled for odors as it flows through the nasal cavity. So your nasal cavity is up here and here. Okay, so air moves via progressively narrower tubes to the lungs following this route. So after it goes through your mouth and your nose, through the nasal cavities, it's going to hit your pharynx first. So it asks you to define the pharynx. This is hard to kind of write with, but bear with me. Your pharynx is the membrane lined, so membrane lined cavity behind the nose and mouth. Okay, so you're going to want to add behind the nose and the mouth. Um, it connects your nose and your mouth to the esophagus for digestion and to the trachea for respiration. So you want to add that membrane lined cavity behind. Oh, my handwriting is awful. The nose. What is happening? And mouth. Okay, handwriting. You just do you. Okay, the larynx is the route blocked by the epiglottis during swallowing. So your larynx is actually your voice box. And what happens is that epiglottis is a little flappy doohickey. And when you swallow, it sends the saliva or whatever food or liquid that you have taken in, and it puts it down into the stomach, right? It goes down that esophagus into the stomach. Now, when you breathe in, it closes the little flap. It opens the flap to allow air to go down into your lungs, but does not allow it to go into your stomach. Now, some of us have experienced this where we have tried to swallow and inhale at the same time. And this will cause you to start choking and coughing in an amazingly embarrassing way until snot is it's everywhere and you have embarrassed yourself and are gagging. Okay, the trachea. This is the trachea. The trachea, so you have your collarbones here, and then you have a little soft triangle right there, and that is your trachea. And so, if you've ever heard of someone having to be trached, what that entails is that they have to cut a little slit right here and insert a tube downward so that you can breathe. Why would they have to do that? They would have to do that if you had a blockage up here or some trauma or inflammation. So if you literally have something stuck across your entire airway, or if you have swallowed something that you're really, really allergic to and it has, like, your immune system has caused such inflammation that it has swollen that shut, they don't want you to die, so they have to give you a way to breathe. Now, some people do recover from tracheas, right? This will heal up once the inflammation has gone down and they can resume normal breathing after a while. Some people who do irreparable damage to their throat, they will never get off the trachea or the trach. Um, and that's just another reason. Please don't smoke. Please don't use tobacco products. So, what is the trachea used for? It is a tube that goes from the larynx into the bronchial tubes, conveying air to the lungs. It is filled with, it's got a ring of cartilage around it. And what does that do? Well, that helps, whoops, daisy. That helps support the trachea while still allowing it to move and flex during breathing. So that cartilage is very, very important. Next up is the bronchi. You have a bronchus for the right lung and a bronchus leading to the left lung. What does the bronchi, or what do the bronchi do? They are the airway that conducts air into the lungs. So they're literally, I wonder if I can show you. We go down, we go down. Number 4 here we go. And number 9, that would be bronchi, the right bronchus and the left bronchus. All right, so those are covered in smooth muscle. Now, what does the smooth muscle do? Well, it dilates, which means open up, or it can constrict. So, okay, moving on. Bronchioles. Bronchioles are what bronchi turn into. They just get smaller and smaller and smaller into tiny tubes, and they are lined with the smooth muscle. So those are the ones that really dilate or constrict, are those bronchioles. All right, alveoli. These do the gas exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide via diffusion. They are tiny, tiny, and you will get into those lots and lots more. All right, let's see if we can label this diagram together. All right, number 1. So that's going to be the nostril. Nostril. There we go. Let's see if I can make that pen just a little bigger. All right, I'm going to color code as best I can. Okay, so next up, thank you, color. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is going to be the mouth or the oral cavity. You can refer to it as either one unless otherwise specified. So there's your mouth. And then we are, let's see if I can color code again. Boop, boop. All right, let's go to number 7 as it's the next directional choice. And that's going to be your pharynx. Boop. All right, so remember that's that tube that has the effect of the epiglottis. Epiglottis. All right, next is going to be, let's see if I can change colors. Oh, hey now. Hey. Want the orange. All right, next up is going to be your larynx or your voice box. Oh, it didn't change my colors. Tricky, tricky. Okay, it's not going to write my R either. All right, the larynx. There we go. It's back. All right, and then next up is going to be the trachea. Down here on number 4 is going to be the right bronchus. Remember that it is not your right, it would be the patient's right. So the right of the patient lying down. So it will be your left and patient right, which makes number 9 the left bronchus. Hopefully that shows up better. Okay, number 5 is going to be the right lung. That's not showing up at all. Okay. Number 6 down here is going to be, let me see if I can scroll up a little bit. There we go. Is going to be the alveoli. All right. And then, oh, that didn't show up very well. And then number 10 is going to be the bronchioles. Bronchioles. I don't know why that's not showing up. Like, what is that? Okay. And then 11 is going to be your diaphragm. Why is none of this showing up? You gonna pop up? Nope, it looks like I just drew lines. Okay, so that's your diaphragm. Let's keep on going. Well, let's review. Let's review. Okay, so you take a big deep breath in through the nose, right? So up the nostrils, in through the nose, up to the nasal cavities, where the air is humidified and processed for odors. Why would it be processed for odors? This is your body's mechanism for trying to see if it smells funny. Because you don't eat food that smells funny. It's part of like a innate safety sort of deal. Okay, so in through the nose, down through the pharynx, where if you're swallowing, it goes one direction. If you're just breathing, it goes another. If you're just breathing, it goes down through the larynx, down to the trachea, right there. It keeps on going downward to the bronchi. You hear it branches into the bronchi, and those are what lead you directly into the lungs. And then they branch like little trees, and the little tiny tree looking thingies that you see in each of the lungs, those are bronchioles. And then they branch to the little flower or leaf looking doohickeys, and those are alveoli, each of those. And that's where we're going to have a lot of gas exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So they're very, very important. These are lungs. And then down here at the very bottom is going to be your diaphragm. All right, so I'm going to stop this video 1 here for you guys to keep them short, and I will come back with more at another time. See you soon.